Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Ross and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I'm your host, Ross Pitt Shark Hunter. Here's our co-host, Wizzy Puff.
Hi.
Beautiful, isn't he?
I still get really shy around the fans. Wait, fans? Do we have any of those yet?
Well, I gave out our P.O. box in episode 39, and I haven't gotten anything. So, I don't think we do.
I've been expecting, bags upon bags of flamin' hot Cheetos.
You're never getting those flaming hot Cheetos trademark.
30 years later, when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I receive one bag of flamin' hot Cheetos.
Eventually. So, Wizzy, a lot of people ask me, Ross, is it you that crashed the economy? And I have to tell them, yes, it was. I don't know why people ask me that. There are no, traces to me, and I didn't actually do it, but whatever.
Did you do that in 2008?
No.
Oh.
But, people ask me it, so I have to say yes, because what else are you supposed to say when someone asks, did you crash the economy?
That's a good point. I would answer yes as well.
Perfect. So, today, we are reading Duped by Nago Lucky Writing. I don't know why I went on that tangent, by the way. It was just a random tangent that I went on.
Yeah, just random.
Yeah, totally random.
So let's get into
today.
this.
It's a comedy story, by the way, so Wizzy will be reading. That's kind of our thing.
Yes, I will. So how about we get into this fic?
I suppose we should.
Chapter 1, Duped. It was a slow day in the School of Friendship's counseling office, where a blue mare sat behind a desk, hooves kicked up.
Life is good,
thought Trixie Lulamoon, as she stared at the ceiling. The voices of students floated in through the open window, and from the sound of it, another friendship problem had been solved by the great and powerful Trixie.
Hell yeah.
The great and powerful Trixie. So she actually, refers to herself like that in the show, right?
Yep.
Oh, man.
She refers to herself as practically only that, actually.
Oh,
she loves herself.
That must be a sucky life.
What? No, Trixie has the best life.
She wastes hours by saying the great and powerful Trixie instead of saying I.
She has to have people know who she is.
But I don't know
and
who she is.
And if she doesn't say that, then really, who is she?
She's Trixie Lulamoon.
And you're not.
Whenever the office was empty, Trixie practiced magic rather aimlessly, shooting off a wide variety of spells from her horn. Twilight banned the dangerous ones after an unsuspecting student opened the door while Trixie was, quite literally, playing with fire. A beam of magic hit a pencil. Another pencil appeared beside the original. Today, Trixie was toying with duplication magic. There was no harm in it. 3 pencils, 4 pencils, 5 pencils. If any pony at the School of Friendship ever needed a pencil, Trixie had pencils to go around. Without looking at anything in particular, Trixie shot off another bolt of magic. The bolt arced above her head before landing on a single bit that lay flat on the desk, which instantly turned into 2 bits. Trixie's eyes darted lazily around the room in an effort to identify the object that had been duplicated.
Wasn't there 1 bit on my desk earlier?
She shrugged.
Doesn't matter.
She mumbled aloud.
It's only 1 bit.
She put a hoof to her chin.
But what if?
She aimed her horn at the 2 bits on her desk, and after a bright flash of light, she counted 4 bits. A smile crossed her face. The flashes came so rapidly in the counselor's office that students passing by compared the scene to a rave. A soft knock at the door. Another. Trixie looked up from her desk, which was now covered with bits. Breathing heavily, she whispered,
Okay. Maybe I went a bit overboard here.
She lazily slid the bits behind her desk onto the floor where they would not be seen. Smolder's dragon head peeked through the door, followed by the rest of her body. She shivered, then shook her head before stepping forward. Everything okay, Smolder?
Who the hell?
Oh, sorry, wait.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm sorry, I thought that was Smolder talking. I realized that you said Smolder.
Everything okay, Smolder?
Yeah. That sounds terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be any valuable treasure in here, right?
Not that I know of.
Trixie said through a forced smile. Maybe my dragon senses are acting up a bit again. I've heard that happens to dragons when they go through... Well, my body's changing, I guess. And that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. Trixie moved to close the door, clicking it shut. That evening, Trixie and Starlight sat together outside Cafe Hay at a lovely little round table.
What are you going to order?
Said Trixie absent-mindedly as she perused a menu that she'd seen dozens of times.
What I always do.
Said Starlight, who hadn't even picked up the menu.
Right. You seem distracted. Is everything okay?
Starlight rested a hoof on Trixie's. Her touch never failed to comfort.
Ah.
That's why you gotta ship 'em.
Yes.
Replied Trixie.
In fact, things are better than okay.
A waiter approached the table, without offering any explanation whatsoever. Trixie asked the waiter for the cafe's finest bottle of wine. Are you sure, ma'am? It's quite expensive.
Special occasion.
Starlight looked at Trixie, who winked. And what will you have to accompany the wine?
I'll have a cucumber sandwich. Extra cucumbers, please.
Said Starlight. The waiter turned to Trixie, who said,
I'll have the garden salad with some of those expensive truffle mushrooms.
Very well, then, said the waiter as he scribbled the orders down on a yellow legal pad. The waiter moved to the next table.
What was that about?
Asked Starlight, her face furrowed into a concerned frown.
I'm not paying for the wine. Don't worry, I'll pay tonight. I want to make this date extra special.
They're actually dating in this fic?
It appears so.
Yeah!
Oh, brother.
Wait, I thought you were just saying earlier that you liked that ship.
Well, I was saying off episode, Wizzy. And yes, people, I do like the ship. I ship 'em as it were. But it's like, oh, come on. Yeah, okay. It's nice that they're in a relationship in this fic. Ooh.
You just don't like the gay ships.
It's only a 5,000
what
word
I'm-
story. Calm down.
Replied Trixie.
And you can afford this how exactly? The paychecks from the School of Friendship are not what I would call lucrative. I actually don't remember what Trixie's job is in the School of Friendship. Because Starlight was counselor, and then she became headmaster, I believe, after Twilight left. So, and then I believe after Starlight became counselor, she hired what's his name to become Sunburst to become counselor.
Oh, that's
And
why people ship him.
Trixie was originally supposed to be trying to get the counselor job, but obviously that wasn't going to happen. I don't think it happened. Let me check, because this is annoying me. Trixie Lulamoon. That dumb name. Okay, no, yeah. She's the school's new guidance counselor, apparently. Seems like a... Oh, wait, that's right. It was for the position of vice head mayor, I guess? Or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know what? It's funnier that I didn't remember, okay? So whatever. Seriously, why is she a counselor now? Terrible, terrible idea. If I tell you, do you promise not to get mad at me?
Trixie looked at Starlight with puppy dog eyes.
Blink, blink,
Starlight
blink, blink.
put her head in her hooves.
Sweet Celestia, you're selling... I'm not selling anything.
Is she selling horse drugs? Oh my god. She
No.
leaned in close to Starlight, whispering in her ear.
Look under the table.
She pulled up the white tablecloth and put her head under the table. Starlight followed suit. The Cutie Mark Crusaders trotted by. Is that Trixie and Starlight? What are they doing? Asked Sweetie Belle.
They're under the table.
Yeah.
Yuck.
I Scootaloo.
Yep, hold up. Yep. I don't know. Relationships are weird.
It's the old Jigsaw voice.
Oh, Jigsaw's much more subdued.
Replied Scootaloo. The Cutie Mark Crusaders continued onwards past Cafe Hay. Underneath the tablecloth, Trixie and Starlight leaned in close to one another.
Watch this,
whispered Trixie. In her hoof was a single bit. She zapped it with magic. 2 bits.
How much was the wine again? You don't even know?
Starlight said, outraged.
Can't have been more than 100 bits.
A few moments later, Trixie slid 100 bits into a small purse. The waiter cleared his throat. Trixie and Starlight moved their heads from under the table. Quickly, the waiter set 2 glasses of wine and placed a bottle of ruby red liquid directly in between Trixie and Starlight.
Hey, this sandwich tastes like grass.
You're a horse, sir. That's what you all eat. said a stallion at the next table over, motioning to the waiter. The waiter rolled his eyes before dragging his hose towards the unsatisfied patron. Trixie was smiling. Starlight was not.
What is it?
Said Trixie, who leaned back in her chair and took a sip of the fine wine. She let out a satisfied sigh. Starlight took a moment to collect herself, then said,
Look, I know that the paychecks at the School of Friendship are small at the moment, but I'm doing the best I can, okay?
While Starlight was speaking, Trixie copied the half-empty bottle of wine. Starlight rolled her eyes.
What? It's good. You don't think that using magic to create money is wrong?
Asked Starlight. Trixie placed a large sum of bits on the table.
Not when we can leave tips this big. What's the word again?
Trixie stared into the air and gestured with her hooves.
Philosophy, pantropy, philanthropy. That's it.
Trixie smiled. A few minutes after Starlight and Trixie departed Cafe Hay, the waiter stared at the pile of gold on white tablecloth. Is my satchel big enough to carry this many bits? He wondered. Trixie stepped through the doors of the School of Friendship as a shimmering mass, gemstones reflecting the sunlight streaming in from the windows. Students oohed and awed as she passed by on her way to the guidance counselor's office. She paused upon seeing Rarity.
Thanks again for making me this coat. I look lovely in it, don't I?
Indeed you do, darling. The finest diamonds in Equestria will make any pony look good. Thank you for commissioning it. Rarity stood for a moment, admiring her work. In her office, Trixie shuffled through some papers, preparing for another day of counseling at the School of Friendship. The door opened and Starlight trotted in.
Here for some counseling, Headmare?
Asked Trixie with a broad grin. Starlight returned an awkward smile before clearing
Speaking
her throat.
of broad grins, everybody, go down into the description and, well, we're already like a third or so of the way through this story, so you can't really it would be kind of pointless to read this on your own. So go down into the description and give this story a like. Please. We're kind of stealing the view away from these guys, so, you know.
Yeah, but we're putting our own spin on it. Don't worry, guys. We're doing good.
So anyways, let's continue.
Asked Trixie with a broad grin. Starlight returned an awkward smile before clearing her throat.
Ahem. Are you able to take the students on a field trip today? I mean...
Trixie unfurled a scroll and pretended to read it.
I do have quite a few appointments today. What's the issue? Applejack had a family emergency to tend to. I can serve as counselor in your absence. Where am I going? Wait. Where am I going? Does it matter?
Starlight huffed in frustration, then looked down. A beat of silence.
I'm sorry, being head mayor is far more stressful than being a guidance counselor. Applejack was going to take them on a hike on the trails near the school.
Trixie yawned.
A hike? I can do that. Great.
How much longer is this hike? Moaned Gallus. Me legs are killing me,
You have wings, dude,
said Sandbar. Right. Gallus beat his wings and floated gently up into the air. Spotting Trixie from above, he boosted over to her. Where is it that we're going exactly?
It's a surprise,
said Trixie dismissively. In near distance, the grand buildings of Canterlot could be seen. Trixie and Gallus made eye contact. Canterlot! Why are we going to Canterlot? Gallus held up a journal. We're supposed to be identifying and documenting the plants near the school, and you're taking us to Canterlot?
Oh, so you'd rather look at leaves than take a VIP tour of the Canterlot Museum? Okay, then.
Trixie turned around, and her nose upturned, her expression playful. Gallus brought himself down in front of her. Wait! VIP tour?
Yes. I know it's not often that the students at this school have the opportunity to go on culturally enriching field trips, so I thought I'd do Applejack a favor and take her students on the most expensive museum tour. Offered. Get you up to speed, you know?
Gallus looked down. Ugh, I didn't bring beats with me. I'm not sure of any of them. He gestured to the other students trudging their way up to the hill. Did either?
Wouldn't it be either?
What? Oh, either.
There you go. No. This is on me. You bet it's on you.
Trixie said, beaming. I can't believe they let you buy the dinosaur egg through a generous donation, said Gallus to Trixie over teeny tiny sandwiches from Canterlot's finest sandwich shop on Restaurant Row. The sandwiches were, of course, graciously paid for by Trixie. The students crowded around the egg, staring at its shiny, cracked surface. Ponies walking by whispered to one another. Bathed in the glow of late afternoon, Trixie sighed.
Life is good,
she thought to herself. Trixie? Twilight said, then rubbed her eyes, which had bags under them. All that escaped her mouth initially were, what's and why's? What are you doing here? Where are the students going? Wait, no? What are the students doing here? I don't know what I'm reading, man. What are the students doing here? Why are you all staring at the dinosaur egg from the museum? From the museum? Wait, what?
You should probably know what you're reading. It's kind of an important part of this podcast.
I have two fics open at once. I'm trying to get double the reading done.
Oh boy.
The ponies who were escorting Twilight glanced at the dinosaur egg, then at Twilight, who still had not composed herself. Her back to Trixie and the students, Twilight took a deep breath, then turned around again. One thing at a time, she mumbled to herself. She opened her mouth to speak, deciding on the appropriate question to ask. An awkward pause. Finally, she settled for, "What is this?" as she gestured to the entire scene.
It's actually she gestured to the entire scene.
I was gonna be nice to the author because I know that they made a typo, but you
Well,
are holding
you
no
shouldn't.
punches, I see.
We do this all the time, dang it.
Yeah, and I was feeling gracious today.
Look, man, if you got the guts to complain about a 12 upvoted story and you're not complaining at this 145 upvoted story, then you're the one with the problem.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
There are stories that we read where we complain about the typos that are only that only have a few upvotes.
Well, that's when I choose violence. I didn't choose violence this time.
A horrific, cruel person.
You're saying this, and I'm the one ignoring the typo.
You're the one ignoring the typo from the upper person. The upper liked person.
Call me classist. I'm on FimFiction.
You are. I took the students on a field trip,
said Trixie smugly.
I may have also acquired this dinosaur egg through a generous donation of 1 million bits.
And where exactly did that money come from?
Twilight. You of all ponies should know that a magician never reveals her secrets.
Twilight, obviously irritated, was about to continue questioning Trixie when one of her aides tapped her on the shoulder and whispered low in her ear.
Low in your ear.
Right, said Twilight. She adopted a formal tone.
She adopted a pony named Formal Tone?
If you'll excuse me, I have an appearance at a banquet for the School of for Gifted Unicorns that I'm running late for. Twilight and her aides quickly moved down the street before Twilight rounded the corner. She glared at Trixie.
It is a valid question,
said Sandbar.
1 million bits is more than most ponies see in their entire lives.
Students chorused in agreement.
Yeah. Agreeing. Why don't we head back to the school?
Trixie said quickly.
I'm sure Starlight is wondering where we are. Where in the hay were you?
Said Starlight angrily.
You were supposed to take the students on a hike.
She looked at the dinosaur egg.
And why in the world are you carrying a dinosaur egg? We went on a hike to the Canterlot Museum.
Trixie set the egg down on the floor of Starlight's office and rested a hoof against it.
Do you like it? Do I like it?
Starlight's muzzle was twisted with anger.
I made a generous donation.
Starlight put a hoof to her head.
Look, Trixie, duplicating bits, it's not right. But I gave the students a VIP tour of the museum. You're also wearing a coat embossed with too many diamonds to count. 256. Just...
Starlight put both hooves to her temple.
Stop, okay?
Fine. Trixie grumbled, trudging out of Starlight's office. Trixie swan-dived off of her desk onto a knee-deep pile of bits.
What should I do next?
She said, her smile maniacal. Having wealth made her feel powerful, more powerful than she'd ever felt, even with her magical abilities. The pile of bits that cushioned her doubled in size. Okay, shouldn't some people be able to tell these are counterfeit, or are bits not made like dollars, where you have like serial codes and stuff?
I don't know how bits are. I think they're just made out of gold. We don't know much about bits. For some reason, they never decided to go into it in the show.
You know, could have been a good episode. Duped the episode.
Yeah.
Blocking some of the light beaming through the window. Through the glass, Trixie could see the delivery carriage arriving at the front of the school. With a strained magical zap, she transported most of the bits to her own carriage, which was hidden in a discreet location in the mountains near Canterlot. The remaining bits were scooped into a rather large leather purse.
Got a custom order. No. Got a custom statue order here.
A stallion in a courier's uniform gestured to a pony-sized block in the back of the carriage covered with dark blue cloth. Trixie opened her purse. The courier nodded, and she passed the bits to him.
Do you need help moving this, ma'am? I'm decently strong.
Behind him, two extremely muscular Pegasi floated over and picked up the statue. The stallion looked back, frowning.
No need.
Trixie waved him off. She used her magic to open her office window, and the Pegasi lifted the statue, still covered by cloth, up.
A little to the left,
said Trixie to the movers, who were in the office now.
There. That's perfect.
She handed each of them a small satchel of bits. After removing the cloth, she admired the statue, a likeliness of who else but herself. 20 bits for a loaf of bread, said a yellow mare in one of Ponyville's markets. A loaf of bread was only 8 bits yesterday, 5 the day before that.
Sorry, ma'am. I don't set the prices. The manager does.
The mare groaned as she aggressively swiped the loaf of bread off the counter before returning it to the shelf. Trixie stepped forward, carrying a basket of the shop's finest chocolate, which was not very fine, and one of those overpriced greeting cards that pop up and play music. Starlight was more than a little distressed. The rising prices of everyday goods had the potential to cause great financial strain on the School of Friendship. Trixie offered to help, but Starlight didn't want any of her dirty money. Trixie planned to surprise Starlight with the chocolates and the card while on a date that night. Expensive, but not too expensive.
200 bits,
said the young pony at the register.
Sure.
Trixie said, absent-mindedly, fishing in her satchel for the money. Behind her, in line, a filly whined. But, Mom, that's candy.
I know, sweetie, but we can't afford it today.
I don't want pistachio.
Then why did you ask for it?
Yeah. The filly began to sob. Trixie looked towards the crying filly, then reached behind her for a pack of multicolored chewy candies.
These two.
On her way out of the store, she bent low and gently placed the pack in the tear-stained hands of the filly.
Tear-stained.
I don't know why I thought read tear-stained. She bent low and gently placed the pack in the tear-stained hands of the filly.
Thank you,
mouthed the mother. Back in her office at the School of Friendship, Trixie pulled back one of the desk drawers and put aside some of the bits to make room for the chocolates and card. Lost in thought, she didn't hear the door open, didn't see Twilight until purple hooves pressed against her desk. Whatever you're doing, it has to stop, demanded Twilight.
Hi, Twilight,
said Trixie, smiling.
What exactly is it that you want me to stop doing?
I know you're using magic to influence Equestria's economy.
How so?
Really? A 1 million bit donation to the Canterlot Museum? I've served as headmaster there. I know what the pay is.
Headmaster here.
I've served as headmaster here. I know what the pay is. I was really confused for a second because I thought that she was saying she worked as headmaster at a museum.
Yeah, that would have just been ridiculous. I had a good touring season over summer. A new fireworks routine really dazzled crowds. Made a lot of bits.
Twilight scoffed. Crowds? I'd hardly call what you draw crowds.
Ouch.
A pause.
Whatever is happening, it's not because of me, I swear.
Trixie looked into Twilight's purple eyes, weighed down by deep bags.
You still don't trust me, huh?
Twilight stammered. Listen, if this issue is not resolved soon, Equestria's entire economy could collapse within days.
That sounds like a you problem, Twilight, being the princess and all.
Yeah.
Again, I have nothing to do with this.
Twilight sighed. Okay. I should head back to the castle. Coming here was pointless. Trixie could see splits forming in Twilight's mane. On the way out, Twilight took a moment to observe the statue of Trixie. Nice statue, by the way, she said with no effort to hide the sarcasm in her voice. After Twilight had gone, Trixie leaned back in her chair and stared at the ceiling.
Can't be my fault, can it?
She stared at the ceiling until well after sundown. The school blanketed by the soft velvet of evening. Starlight was late. The clock chimed 8 times. Trixie took that as her cue to leave the office in search of Starlight. She opened the door, nearly knocking Starlight over.
Starlight, just the pony I was looking for. What took you so long?
It was then that she noticed Starlight's puffy eyes.
I thought I told you to stop,
said Starlight, her tone measured.
I did.
Starlight stared at the statue of Trixie.
Yeah.
She spat.
I'm sure. Is this about the rising prices? How is that my fault? You spent so many of your duplicated bits that you've single-handedly devalued the currency. It should be single-hoovedly, by the way.
Trixie laughed.
What? That's ridiculous. Is it? How many bits have you spent in the past week?
Trixie mulled the question for a moment before saying,
I don't know. A lot.
Starlight again looked at the statue.
Obviously so. So, where do you want to go tonight?
Asked Trixie, changing the subject.
You know what? I think I'm going home. Forget about our date.
Before Trixie could protest, Starlight stormed out of the counselor's office, slamming the door on her way out. Trixie returned to her desk and opened the drawer. She opened the pop-up card. A happy jingle rang out. Played for half a minute, then abruptly ended. She continued to stare at the card, wondering how any of this was her fault. The voice came over the radio.
This is Skywave reporting an economic crisis in Equestria is becoming increasingly likely as the value of the bid continues to drop. The cause for this development remains unknown.
How
Trixie
could
turned
anyone
the
listen
knob
to this
to
radio
another
channel?
The morning sun greeted her as she stared out the open window of her carriage at Equestria beyond. Behind her, piles of golden bits neared the ceiling, save for a narrow area surrounding her cot.
Now what?
Asked Trixie out loud. She craned her neck to look at the mountain of bits, shimmering in the light of the sunrise. She had more wealth than a pony could ask for in one lifetime. She had everything. Everything but a hot mocha between her hooves. Entering one of Carentorlot's finest coffee shops, Trixie looked left, looked right.
Everybody looks left. Everybody looks right. Where is everyone?
She wondered. Behind the counter, a mare stood, slowly sipping a cup of coffee.
Don't tell my boss about this,
said the mare. She sounded entirely defeated, setting down the cup. She said,
What can I get for you?
A mocha.
The mare turned around, preparing a mug.
You do know that a mocha is running 10,000 bits today, right?
10,000? Christ! What did you do, Trixie?
Jesus. 10,000?
Yeah, I'm assuming you could pay for this. You look like a rich pony.
Trixie looked down at her cloak. She had Rarity make another one with twice the diamonds, because 256 didn't feel like enough.
Oh boy. I can, yes.
Silence followed. A few minutes later, the mare pushed a mocha over the counter. Trixie opened her satchel and withdrew the bits necessary to pay for it.
It's a deep wallet,
commented the mare. Trixie pointed a hoof to her unicorn horn.
Magic.
She cupped the mocha in her hose and wandered over to a small sofa, where she sat and looked out the window. The streets were empty. Many businesses were closed. A sip of mocha.
Life is good.
With her magic, she had the ability to weather the economic tragedy, whatever the cause was. The barista had the radio on, and in the background, Trixie could again hear the voice of Skywave.
Twilight Sparkle has officially declared an economic crisis in Equestria. Ponies everywhere in a state of panic as obtaining life necessities has become impossible for most. More to come on this developing story.
Members of the Royal Guard appeared outside the coffee shop.
This must be her.
One of them shouted. Move in! Trixie counted 5 guardsmen before a white hoof grasped her, dragging her out of the shop. These shenanigans have gone on long enough, miss.
What are you talking about?
Asked Trixie. The Royal Guard has identified a blue unicorn spendthrift believed to have a connection to the current economic crisis. You match that description.
Not me. Sorry. I am the great and powerful Trixie. Don't care.
One of the Royal Guard shoved Trixie forward.
Hey. Piss off.
Trixie found herself in an empty room, save for a cheap plastic chair and table.
What is this?
Said Trixie.
Kennerlot's Royal Guard can't afford nicer furniture?
A gruff voice over the intercom.
This is a questioning room. Not sure the quality of the furniture matters at this point. Stand by. You will be questioned shortly.
Trixie kicked the chair and stuck her tongue out at nobody. She paced around the room for a few minutes, surrounded by 4 drab walls. Eventually, a door opened and a mayor donning a simple black suit stepped in. The mayor pointed a hoof at the chair and table, nodding. Trixie sat down across from the mayor.
Greetings. My name is Agent Stable. Please state your name.
Trixie said nothing. Silence.
Are you aware that the value of the bit has plummeted to a record low?
No words. No movement. Trixie stared at Agent Stable, who began rifling through papers.
Our records indicate that you have spent, at minimum, 1 billion bits in recent weeks. Let me repeat that number. 1 billion. Is that correct?
A blank stare. Agent Stable sighed, twirled a pen in her hooves.
Didn't know I spent 1 billion,
said Trixie, finally permeating the silence.
Guess that makes me Equestria's first billionaire. Where did the bits come from?
Asked Agent Stable calmly.
Haven't you heard? I'm a famous magician/counselor at the School of Friendship. Do you claim this to be your only source of income? Have to make a living somehow. The official currency count as of 2 weeks ago was 327,256,038. Didn't quite catch that? Very well. 2 weeks ago, the official currency count was 327,256,038. What was that last part again? 8. No, the part before that. 236,038. Or no, wait, sorry. 256,038. You know what? Just say the entire number again.
Oh my god. Trixie's a troll.
Yep.
Agent Stable breathed out, beginning to lose her patience.
You spent more bits than there are in circulation. Significantly more, in fact.
Trixie scoffed.
I'm going to ask you again. Where did the bits come from?
No response. Papers were shuffled, a chair scraped against the hard floor of the questioning room. Agent Stable stood.
Very well, then. You will be placed in a holding cell until further notice.
2 members of the Royal Guard entered the room and forcefully grabbed Trixie by the shoulders. After being guided down a long corridor, the guards threw Trixie into a small cell, 3 walls and a set of white metal bars which clanged shut. Immediately after the guards were out of sight, Trixie's horn glowed. A pop. She looked left, looked right.
Everybody
She had not
looks
moved.
left. Everybody looks right.
What is that?
It's from Lion King, dude.
I've not seen that in years.
Oh my goodness. Technically, neither have I, but I still remember every song. What?
She tried to teleport again and again. She found herself within the cell.
I am the great and powerful Trixie. I cannot be imprisoned.
More pops. Eventually, Trixie collapsed to the ground, panting. She turned over onto her back and stared at the flat white ceiling above.
Maybe this is my fault.
She thought. 24 hours later, she was still in the cell. A lavender head appeared on the other side of the bars. Still on her back, Trixie shifted her eyes towards the familiar face.
Starlight?
Trixie could tell Starlight had been crying.
The School of Friendship is closing tomorrow. Thought I'd let you know. You, my mare friend, who will likely be imprisoned in the coming days. How'd you get in here anyways? The guards quit. Canterlot can't pay them for their services anymore. They get paid?
Trixie said.
I always thought they served out of the goodness of their hearts. Will you quit being so naive?
Starlight spat. Oh my god, she has a spitting problem.
Yeah. I told you not to duplicate bits, but of course you went ahead and did it anyways. I just wanted to give you... Me? This was never about me. Only you.
Hey, Starlight, she offered. You could have been part of this, but you decided not to.
Yeah, I think there's a reason she decided not to.
Well, one of them did end up in prison, but touche. Starlight flailed her arms.
The jackets, the egg, the statue. In your stupid quest for wealth, you forgot what really mattered.
The two mares locked eyes for a brief moment. Sniffling, Starlight turned around.
I should go.
With her head down, she collided with a mare's broad shoulders.
Ugh.
Hi, Starlight, said Twilight, who seemed frazzled as ever. Trixie pushed herself off the ground and placed her hands on the bars of the cell. She found herself face to face with Twilight, who spoke quickly, frantically. I figured it out. Finally figured out how you did it. I'm surprised no pony tried it sooner. I am too. Maybe they have, but never on a scale like this. Only you, Trixie, would go well beyond reason and expose a serious flaw in Equestria's currency system. Seriously, how do you have a system like this where you can just duplicate money and no one's going to notice?
Wizzy, I don't like you lying to our fans. She said, I finally figured it out. Not just, I figured it out.
Well, I think you'll find, if you go listen to the recording again, I said I finally figured it out.
Really?
All right, now guys, don't tell Ross this, but I didn't actually say that.
Okay, guys, don't tell Wizzy this, but I already listened back to the recording.
You don't have the recording!
Not that you know of.
Starlight attempted to ask what Twilight was talking about, but Twilight was not finished. Thank you. I hate you. Thank you. I need your help. You created the problem. Now you're going to help me fix it. There were 327,256,037 bits in circulation before you...
8.
What?
38, not 37.
Said Trixie. Does it matter?
Only for the sake of continuity.
She's breaking the fourth wall. She's breaking the fourth wall.
No, I think that's just Trixie being a bitch.
Trixie shrugged. Twilight shook her head. Anyway, I did some calculations, and if we combine our magic, we should be able to remove all the invalid bits. Take a look. A notebook was shoved through the bars. What the... Well, why am I still single? I mean, I'm a princess. Read a line on the page.
What is this?
Said Trixie. Twilight looked at the notebook and blushed.
Oh, Twilight.
Whoops, wrong page. After quickly flipping to another page in the notebook, Twilight again pushed the notebook towards Trixie. The hoof writing on this page was very crude and shaky, but Trixie did her best to decipher it.
Uh-huh.
muttered Trixie.
Yes.
She finished reading.
So what do I get for helping you?
What do you get for helping me? Are you kidding me?
Not really.
I was going to sentence you to an equestrian prison out in the frozen north. But now that I'm thinking about it, I have something much better in mind. Twilight gave a cheeky smile.
Not prison?
Not prison.
Oh god, she's gonna execute Trixie.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fair.
Lethal injection.
I was thinking something far worse. Okay, let's do this then.
The glow of the unicorn magic illuminated the white walls of the cell and the hallway.
Wait.
Trixie spoke, moments before the spell was to be performed.
What about the ponies who sold things to me?
The spell covers that. Were you even reading the notebook? A pause. Sorry, I forgot that my magical knowledge is significantly more advanced than yours. Trixie frowned. Twilight's horn glowed. Having no choice in the matter, Trixie combined her magic with Twilight's. The three ponies were blinded by a bright flash of light. Momentarily blinded, they stumbled around. Trixie's head clanged against the metal bars.
Ooh. Did it work?
Asked Starlight? Was that supposed to be Starlight?
Huh.
I think they may have just messed that up.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh well, Starlight's in the scene now. Did it work? Fuck you.
Only one way to find out. Wait, when did you get here, Starlight? Only one way to find out, replied Twilight, trotting down the hallway. Trixie was still behind bars.
What about me?
I don't know what I just did.
What about me?
Twilight turned around. It's open. It was open the whole time, actually. One of the guards didn't set the lock properly. Sure enough, Trixie pushed on the cell door and it slid open. The hum of a radio echoed throughout the empty break room. Is that, what's his name?
Maybe.
And that's why you don't set lemurs on fire. Learned that one the hard way.
I'm starting to get an enjoyment out of this guy. I think I could see the appeal of this radio host.
Couldn't even turn off the radio before they left. Twilight shook her head. She turned the dial. And some ponies say that they witnessed... Wait. I'm like, what? That should be on a different friggin' paragraph.
Yeah, God.
Some ponies say that they witnessed Mitch disappear. Confusion continues across Equestria. This is Skywave reporting. More to come after these messages.
Static crackled. Okay, muttered Twilight. She proceeded to aim her horn at a bit that had dropped to the floor. A blast of light. One bit. Trixie looked at Twilight. I placed a spell on equestrian currency that blocks the unicorn magic. The three mares stood by the radio in silence for a while. A free mare once again. Trixie turned to leave the room. Where do you think you're going? Said Twilight.
Home?
Replied Trixie.
Aren't we done here?
Twilight laughed. Starlight and I are. As for you...
Yeah, Starlight was there.
Okay. I don't know. That's very confusing to me.
Did it say that she ever truly left?
It was kind of implied.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going back up. Starlight attempted to... Oh, look at that. Yeah, she was there.
Okay.
She had attempted
So I
to
guess-
ask Twilight something.
Oh. All these different versions of Twilight are just confusing me.
Brother. Yeah, there's blue Twilight, pink Twilight, purple Twilight.
Trixie boarded the train under the watchful eyes of Twilight. She glanced down at her ticket again and rolled her eyes.
Why the hay is Twilight sending me to Appaloosa?
Oh, Appaloosa's like their Guantanamo Bay.
Sure.
Poor Brayburn. He's a
Yeah.
prison guard. Oh, I get it now.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
On Trixie's horn was a special device that prevented her from performing unicorn magic. "It'll disappear in a few weeks," Twilight had said moments earlier. "And don't even think about leaving. That," she gestured to the device, "will prevent you from doing so. Have fun." Sullen, Trixie watched as the lush greenery of Ponyville gave way to empty desert sands. At last, the train came to a halt. On the platform, a yellow stallion with a cowboy hat stood tall and proud. As Trixie stepped off, she was greeted by a country accent.
Twilight told me you'd be coming. You excited for a taste of good old-fashioned communal living?
Flam? Who the heck is Flam?
Oh, well. I'm glad you asked. Let me just look up the lyrics to the Flim Flam song. Ahem. No, that's probably a bad idea. There are two, Flim and Flam are two brothers. They're twins, I think. Or maybe they're just brothers, I don't know. Flam has a mustache. Flim doesn't.
Huh.
They're great. They're like pony salesmen who try and sell things and rip people off.
"Well, Flam, looks like we're down to our last bit again," said Flam. "It appears that we've weathered this crisis only to find ourselves in another one." They both laughed.
Never gets old. Ready, Flam?
Said Flim. The two unicorns stood over a bit, lightly dusted with dirt, and directed their horns at it.
I think you did it wrong.
"Me? You're the one who was magically challenged," replied Flam. And so the two stallions stood arguing, hovering over what would never be more than a single bit. Yay! Twilight's spell worked.
That's good.
And that's the end of that story, and I thought this was a great story.
Me too. That was Duped by Nego Lucky Writing. Nago Lucky Writing?
Nago?
Nago? That makes sense, I guess. Nago Lucky Writing. So yeah, good story. Like a 5 out of 10 would read it. No,
I give it higher than that, personally.
7, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like about right to me.
Yeah, boy, is Trixie stupid.
She's not stupid. She's just looking out for number one.
And look where that got her.
Anyway, I thought that Flim and Flam were some people from Appaloosa because of what was just happening, but it turns out they weren't.
Yeah, no. They're, it's a bit difficult to explain them, honestly. Other than, they're two brothers who are old-timey salesmen.
I just hope that we can get some sequels to this called Bamboozled and Smeckledorfed.
Yes, that would be perfect. We'll see if it happens.
Where, Trixie can commit some more fraud.
Please, oh please, can that happen? Oh boy, I love Trixie committing some fraud.
And she'll never learn her lesson.
She really won't. Anyways, everyone, if you listen to this without reading the story, which I know, I didn't tell you guys to at the beginning of this, that was on me. But if you listen to this without reading it, go down into the description and give it a like, even if you didn't like it. Just do it for, because we're stealing this poor author's viewership from you all. So,
And
Shoot.
I think that would wrap everything up.
No, it wouldn't. Wizzy, you still have your announcement to make.
Guys, I'm leaving the podcast.
Woo! Yeah.
All right, that's it. I'm actually leaving now.
No, don't do it. Wizzy, no, I need you. I can't do anything without you.
Oh, brother. Anyway,
If you weren't so perfect, I would choke the life out of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
In a fun way.
Oh, okay.